Hello everyone, my name is Chase Pounds. In today's video, I'm discussing about a 1943 movie called A Guy Named Joe that starred Spencer Tracy, Ari Dunning, directed by Victor Fleming, MGM movie, 1943. This is a movie I had owned since I was in the fourth grade. First time I saw it was at the library. I rented it from the library when I was in the third grade. And around the month of July, the following year, in 2008, I rented it again from the same library, and it was actually they happened to be giving this movie away, giving away free movies. I guess old movies, it's mostly VHS movies, and I happened to stumble on the movie I saw from last year, and I ended up renting it again, ended up buying it, and watching it again, and from that point on, every time around July, usually around 4th of July holiday, I always watch this movie. And what this movie is about is a more of a spiritual, a kind of religious spiritual tale that's set during the Second World War, and where a kind of a daredevil or reckless pilot named Pete Sandage, who's I should say is a like I said, a Deckless River kind of reckless pilot who is being told that he should fly a certain way, that he should conduct himself as a team member instead of trying to do things his own way, because his own way is kind of leading him to I should say kind of leading him to his fate of certain death, and his sweetheart, his girlfriend, Dorinda, is kind of sensing that, as she puts it in the movie, his number is up, but Pete doesn't really takes it lightly. He tries to reassure Dorinda he'll live several more years, but unfortunately, this is turns out to be true, as he goes out to fly during an important mission, and unfortunately he dies in combat. And of course, Dorinda's distraught, and unfortunately is distraught and can't seem to go on without him. While that's going on, Pete ends up in the kingdom, almost like a kingdom of heaven, God's kingdom in a way, but it's more like a base in the sky that I was teaching the next generation how to fly spiritually, is working together as a team. But Pete doesn't realize this, and he thinks about trying to do things his way and showing off, even though an angel was guiding him. Another fellow pilot that died in combat tries to guide Pete into learn the proper way of learning how to teaching the next generation how to fly. But yet Pete uses it as a way of showing off and trying to do things the way he pleases. At the same time, he teaches a young up-and-coming pilot named Ted Randolph, who was kind of a nervous flyer, but kind of just to learn how to fly. It kind of starting to kind of fit in with the rest of the squadron. And unfortunately, he stumbles upon Dorinda, his former girlfriend. Yet he ends up dead. And unfortunately, he ends up becoming very acquainted with Pete's former girlfriend, and unfortunately, how should I put it, unfortunately, he ends up acquainted very well with her, and then start the date and courting, and then they get engaged and become married. And this is Pete's moment where he tries to show off. At the same time to show off, which gets him into trouble and assigned to a special job. Even though at the same time Pete's in trouble with is in trouble as well for his ignorant actions and showing off and being jealous. And when he returns to the base in the sky, he Colonel Lieutenant played by Lionel Barrymore. More constant instruction and guides him again. It gives him a more clear understanding of what his real mission is about. And it's about again guiding next generation of pilots to be next flyers, and trying to work together as a team member. It's kind of a salvation, as a form of salvation, a form of righteousness. Again, this is in a more spiritual aspect of things, and eventually he understands his purpose, and he goes back to Earth and tries to redeem himself. At the same time, Dorinda is still distraught over the loss of Pete. Is still mourning the loss of Pete. Yet then turns down her marriage between Ted Randolph. And at the end, is at this point that Ted Randolph is assigned to a special mission that could mean life or death. To avoid a similar fate what Pete went through, she goes on and takes on the mission, sneaks into the plane, sneaks and takes on the mission, and she almost risks her life trying to accomplish this mission. At the same time, Pete's in the plane talking Dorinda out of her actions. At the end, she kind of has a she finds her place of getting over the loss of Pete, and not being afraid of life, and being able to move on and feeling more happy and joyful. And she reunites with Lieutenant Randolph, and that's how the movie ends. And it's a very good movie. As I said, has a very good spiritual element to it. A good spiritual element. And this is this movie kind of was a trend that I'm not sure people really knows this or not, but I always picked up on it lately. I realized that during this era there seemed to be kind of a trope in these types of movies, mostly religious spiritual movies, redeeming movies, where a person is a second chance of life, has to come to Earth, who dies, an individual who dies a swift traumatic death, who enters in the kingdom in heaven, in a heavenly palace or heavenly institution, and they're either in many cases being told to try to, in order to redeem themselves, by trying to influence others or redeem other people on earth. Earth is a chance of salvation, and trying to influence salvation, and either redeeming themselves or other people as a task to help another person. In the case of the guy named Joe, and there are other movies of the 1940s like this. There's they had this kind of heaven, like a spiritual heaven and hell concept. One was a movie called I think the start of the trend was a movie called Here Comes Joe. Comes Joe. Here comes I think I'm trying to remember the name of it. Here Comes Mr. Jordan. That was the name of it. Here Comes Mr. Jordan, which was about a man who was after dying a tragic death, he was reincarnated in the body of another person. And this becomes the inspiration for movies such as Heaven Can't Wait, and a more recent kind of contemporary version of this, which was based off a book. Of a 1978 movie called Heaven Can't Wait, starring Warren Beatty. Beatty was based off this concept. Then you had that same also was though back in the 40s. You also had a movie called Heaven Can't Wait, which is more of a period drama. But it starts off with a man who's lived his life, but is sent to a purgatory, a type of hell. But reviewing his life, it turns out that he lived a good life and doesn't deserve to go to hell. But it's not related to this other movie with Warren Beatty. Though it gets lumped together, but it's not the same type of movie. Though other movies of that era were include the Three Stooges had a similar episode kind of Other movies of this era included Cabin in the Sky, a all black film. Sky, Three Stooges had an episode like this, and Cabin in the Sky. Sky. Which it also starred Eddie Washington, who had been the Jack Benny program, and again, it's a kind of similar story of a person that dies in the black perspective, an all-black film that had a person that dies and dies. He goes to purgatory and I guess has to redeem himself. I never really saw the whole movie though. Three Stooges had a film of this. The Three Stooges had an episode on this called Heavenly Days, and Tom and Jerry had an episode like this as well, called on Heavenly Puss the following year. So this was like I said, I'm not sure this was a trend at that era where it took off, where films had like a spiritual religious trope where someone had to redeem himself to try to have a second chance at life, or as a way of eternal salvation. But this was was kind of a trend. I think a guy named Joe was a part of this trend. And it's a very good movie. As I said, it's a movie I watch every year. And some of the elements of this movie, some of the characters actually remind me of my family a little bit, my parents. Excuse me. And that's all I got to say about this movie. There's another video by Chase Pounds. Stay tuned for my next video.